Hello again, beautiful beings of light. So today I have a very special guest. This right here is little Grayson. He's super cute. So he's just going to be kind of chilling in the background. Wow, I have so much to share with you. I feel like it's been absolutely forever. So today we are talking all about aliens. Hey Lauren, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hey Kayla. Awesome. So we're talking all about aliens today. Once again, this is Grayson, and I just want to let everyone know that I'm not going to be taking questions live on the spot. I'm actually just covering alien topics. So I pre-took questions for today's live. So I've got a ton of really awesome disclosure questions and alien interdimensional stuff to get to today. So definitely stay tuned for that. I also have all of these names that are just continuing to fill up, and I will be choosing a winner for the 30-minute free session at the end of the live video. So please stay tuned for that. And so I wanted to start today's live with my own personal abduction story. And, I've said this story on stages, I've said it on radio, I've said it in YouTube videos, and today, regardless if you've heard this story or not, today I am talking about a childhood abduction story. Hey guys, hey Mary Jane, hey Kelly. So I wanted to really just kind of kick things off with a regression that I had the other week. I think it was last week. And it was a regression where I went into my childhood and a lot of memories that were blacked out for me. Yes, and it was actually the beautiful Trina who did this regression, and she's got her PhD, her doctorate in hypnotherapy. She is amazing, and she is in the GTA area. So if you're interested in getting some sort of regression, maybe you're trying to quit smoking, maybe you're trying to figure yourself out, she is the one that you want to contact for that. So I got this regression done by Trina. And I went into all of these moments, almost, I want to say, close to 10 abductions when I was between the ages of about 4 years old and 10 years old. And, to really relive these abductions, these personal, physical abductions was quite something to bear witness to. And to be honest, I believe that the reason why I was unable to have this live video last Monday is because I hadn't had that regression done yet. So I feel like today is the day that I'm supposed to be sharing this story with all of you. And I also feel like many of you out there are also these starseed hybrid children yourself, and I do feel like you probably have a lot of stories yourself about maybe weird incidences when you were younger, or weird sightings in the sky, whatever it may be. Just know that we are all connected interdimensionally. I believe that we are all hybrids in one way or another. So just kind of be aware of that. And if you've never really gone into aliens or extraterrestrial beings before, now is the time. We are all being called to action to understand who we are and why we're here at this time. So there's so much that I got regressed into, which was so beautiful. I'll kind of explain the first time that I got abducted. I was 4 years old, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and I looked over to my left, and there it was, 2 little gray beings. Now, at 4 years old, I was little myself, so I don't even know how tiny I was, but these grays looked quite large to me. And they were just short, maybe 3-4 feet tall. And so they looked quite large to me anyway at 4 years old. And they actually looked very similar to Grayson here. They almost looked exactly identical to him, but just in a bigger body. And so there's these two kind of Tweedledee and Tweedledum, you know, gray beings who are beside my bed. And so, you know, I wake up and I see them beside me. I'm 4 years old, and they telepathically send me this message, and they say, Elizabeth, like, you need to come with us. And so, you know, I was like obviously frightened and confused. I was a little girl. And so, you know, I had this like fear in me, of course, because it's something that I never seen before in this lifetime. But regardless of this fear, I felt like there was some sort of longing or need to go with them. And so I ended up going, and we teleported on top of their ship. I guess not on top of their ship, but in the ship. And so I get teleported into this room that looks like a classroom. And, you know, in front of me are a couple of other grays that are scattered around that room. In front of the room, there is a taller gray, and it looked like he had like a chalkboard in front of him, but it wasn't really a chalkboard. It was kind of like a chalkboard. Like, he would write things with his finger instead of chalk, and they would appear on the board. So it was like pretty cool, I don't know. And then there was all of these children who were in the room, and the room was kind of shaped, it was like this open, vast, kind of empty metal room. And there was these kind of like half seats, I would call them. So like there was like this row of like seating, and there's all of these children, and I would say that they were ranging between the ages of like 4 was the youngest, all the way up to like 10 years old. And they all had pajamas on. We were all in our PJs. It was kind of like one big PJ party. And what we were being taught was very extensive, like energetic, I would say, like physics and quantum physics. So the way that energy works on this plane of existence and reality. And so we were all being taught at this very, very young age about quantum physics. And so, you know, that was really cool. I got to experience a little bit of that. And then eventually they took myself and about 4 or 5 of these other children, all within the same age range, into another room. And this room, instead of it being like kind of like this vast metal room, it was more of this like smaller white light room. It was like full of like white, I guess. And so there was like the 5 of us, children, all sitting around in a circle, all with our PJs on. And in front of us, in the circle, there's all of these shapes, these geometrics, very, very rudimentary geometric shapes. And most of them were cubes and spheres. And there was also some like 3-dimensional triangles, but mostly these cubes and these spheres. And there was like smaller and bigger versions of these weird shapes. And there was something about the gravity in that room that was very different than the gravity that I was used to. And there was something about these shapes of material that I wasn't also used to. And it felt like the atomic molecules of these shapes was something a little bit lighter, like it was a different material. And so, you know, there was no grays in that room. It was just these kids. And some of the kids were stacking the blocks. Some of them were rolling. I remember 2 of them were rolling this giant sphere, you know, across the circle towards each other. And I took the biggest square, the biggest cube that I could find in this very dark, almost gray material. And I felt the urge to split the cube in half. And for whatever reason, this was just very intuitive to me. And I was splitting it and splitting it and splitting it. And it was just with my energy or my mind. I don't remember even touching the cube at all. And I remember looking in the middle of the cube and seeing that it was no longer a solid. It was more of like a very white, light, transparent color. So I could see that I was starting to split the cube in half. And so just when I thought I was going to split it, this taller gray walked in the room, and he pulled me aside, and he started communicating with me. And he said, "From now on, Elizabeth, we would like to take you to individual lessons." And so from then on, I got abducted a couple of times, around the age of 4, and then even more like closer to the age of 10. And every time I was now being individually trained or taught or whatever. I remember, him drawing trees, like trees that we find on this planet, trees on the chalkboard, and talking about the same sort of energy that is within Mother Nature, and the trees and the planet is the same energy that's within us. And I remember that being a very, very important lesson to learn, is that we are all the same energy. We are all the same vibration, on this planet. So yeah, so very, very cool stuff. I really wanted to just kind of share that information with you. I pre-took a lot of your alien questions, and I'm so excited to really start talking about what you're interested in. And I do have a lot of pre-questions here with regards to aliens and extraterrestrials. If you have any other questions related to this topic, feel free to comment below. I want to say a couple of announcements, and then I want to get to a question that I want to ask all of you. So a couple of announcements. First of all, especially based on this topic. If you have friends or family members or distant relatives that really love aliens, or that have always been a little bit abnormal or a little bit weird, then please tag their name below. And once again, feel free to comment, like, and share this video at any time. It's a great source of free information for people. So I wanted to put that out there. I also wanted to say, in light of all of these extraterrestrial, interdimensional, alien downloads that I've been receiving, I wanted to actually dedicate the next workshop to this topic of aliens. So I'm going to be having a 2-hour, group workshop, and it's going to be maxed out at 14 people. Okay, I just actually made the event group for it. It's $40 for the 2 hours, and it's going to be in downtown Toronto. So please, sign up now, book your tickets right off my website or right off that event page. And it's going to be aliens, all about Aliens 101, and I am personally going to be channeling the alien species that you are most directly related to. So that's going to be a lot of fun. You definitely don't want to miss out on that if you are in the GTA area. Once again, I am going to be pulling a winner for the reviews, and I've got a lot of names in here. So, if you're feeling lucky, stay tuned to the end of this live video, and I'm going to be pulling a name for that. And what else do I have? Oh yes, I do have an amazing, beautiful retreat happening in Orangeville. It's 3 days long, vegan catered retreat. And if you're interested in that, please let me know. There's only 3 spots available left, and we're even thinking about 1 or 2 spots available. So if you are interested, please contact me, email me, message me off of my website, and we will make sure that you get into that retreat. Trust me when I say this, it is revolutionary, and it is so important for all of us to take the time that we really need to ourselves. Okay, so it's all about giving back to you. And what else? Okay, good. Yes, fantastic. And then the date for the alien workshop is going to be Sunday, October 15th. Okay, so not this Sunday, but the Sunday after that. Let me know if you're interested. Sign up on my website and on the event page. All right. Okay, cool. So I also wanted to mention the concept of the balance between your human and your interdimensional life. And what I mean by that, it doesn't necessarily have to do with aliens, but really what I mean by that is that we all kind of have this split. No matter if you are new to the concept of aliens, or you are a long UFO believer, we are all battling between the physical and the non-physical worlds, okay? So I think all of us at this time have felt this weird split, this weird restlessness, and this pull between worlds. And that's kind of what I call it. It's between this world and the next. So there's definitely this, back and forth, push and pull energy that we're all kind of feeling and seeing here. And that definitely means that your soul is being called to another vibration or another dimension, okay? Now, I wanted to ask all of you, based on that, Now, aliens is a pretty scary concept. And the only reason why the concept of aliens is so scary is because it's been programmed within us that anyone who doesn't look like us isn't us, which is mind-blowing. And to be honest, I think religion has a lot to do with that. Either you're Catholic or Protestant, either you're Jewish or Mormon, and there's so much divide and separation. Why can't we just all be here? And actually, a woman by the name of Elizabeth, another Elizabeth, reviewed me, and she said, "I'm so happy to see someone who is so confident and so comfortable in sharing this alien information and, I guess who I really am." And she said that she's getting really sick and tired of the new age like bullshit kind of thing. So she's really getting sick and tired of the new age stuff. And to be honest, once again, it's just another label. And she actually said we should start calling it the solar age, and I like to call it the cosmic age, because essentially we all come from the cosmos and we're all back here from the cosmos. So there really is no difference, between one or the other. We're always going to get back to source, and source is a part of the cosmic energy in this universe. So I thought that was a really beautiful kind of comment to be made about, let's get away from the new age and the stigma and the attachment. Let's get away from all labels and just understand that this little guy and me are actually the same being. And many of you out there are also a part of these, I don't even want to say greater or more powerful species, because they're not, but just different species. And we're so caught up in the race war, and we're so caught up in the gender war, and we're so caught up with sexuality and these labels that we fail to recognize that all of us, every single human being, every single individual on this planet belongs to the same species. Isn't that mind-blowing? That we're so caught up in the polarity of things that we don't even realize we're all the same. So this is what we have to understand. And now, if you're following me so far, if you're that open-minded, then let's just take that next little step forward and say that not only are all of us humans a part of the same energy and the same source, but all of us interdimensional beings and weird-looking, creatures, we are all a part of the same vibration, the same energy. Every blade of grass, every tree, every waterfall that you see out there is a part of the same flow and the same universal essence. Let's get away from labels. There is no such thing as aliens. There is just, let's just call it, hold on, it's coming to me. Hold on, it's coming to me. Source exemplified through individuality. That's just what I received, okay? We are all, no matter what life form you're in, we are all source expressed through individuality, right? So we're all part of the same thing. We're just kind of in these individual little compartments. So keep that in mind when you're talking about and thinking about aliens, even if it's the first time you've ever opened your mind to other aliens and beings. Now, that being said, I also want to let you know that the polarity between light and dark, and the polarity between good and evil, it does exist, but it also doesn't simultaneously exist. And, it's so important because a lot of the questions that I received on the topic of aliens was, are all aliens bad? Are they scary? I feel really, I feel really worried about stepping into this concept because I don't want to be attracting these negative aliens. And I get it. But I mean, do we just think about something and attract all of these negative humans, So just understand that the positive and the negative humans on this planet, the good, and I use that lightly because really there is no such thing as good and evil, but the good and the evil humans on this planet exemplify, the rest of the species who are out there throughout dimensions. So just as we have good and bad humans, there are also good and bad greys, and there are also good and bad reptilians. So be aware of that. But I will be getting into these questions that you all sent me just in a little bit. So speaking of which, I want to ask you the question just to kind of get a feel for the audience here and also to get a feel for humanity as a whole. What scares you the most about aliens? So please comment below, let me know, what scares you the most? What fear, what is the biggest fear for you when you think about aliens or getting abducted or being a part of another alien extraterrestrial species? Now, for me personally, I would say that if I was less knowledgeable, I would say the biggest thing that freaks me out is free will. I always had this fear that they were in a different dimension, a different realm, therefore, they have power over me, which is not the case at all. We all have these universal truths that we are all abiding to in every dimension. Yeah, so the fear of the unknown. Okay, not knowing if they are violent. Great, I love these comments here. Let's see what else. Okay, them hurting me. Very reasonable fear. I mean, I feel like as a species, as a human species, we're all in a fear and a state of survival. But who put us in this state of survival rather than a state of thriving? It's all of the, organizations and the structures and the government and the education out there that programs us to let us know, hey, you might not be safe if you don't see someone who looks the same as you. I mean, once again, it's the programming. Okay, so good, nothing, okay. What scares you is that I am one. Great, I love that, Casey. Okay, awesome. Okay, just the unknown and not having control, yep. Not knowing their intentions, makes sense, friend or foe. Okay, I have no fear except destroying the planet. Great. Okay, the unknown. Okay. Nadia, feeling them near me, to be honest, it freaks me out. There's no better or worse here, so thank you for being honest, guys. Miscommunication, conflict, okay. Okay, great. Awesome, guys. I fear that they won't help us before it's too late. Great comment, Hal. And to be honest, that's actually a really great consideration. They have already helped us out. Sorry to say, but right now, at this time, we wouldn't be existing if they didn't dismantle and disarm our nuclear weapons a while ago, okay? So just being aware that, even though it's not on mainstream news, they have helped us out before. And that's actually these guys right here. I'm connected to this species. I am part Zeta Gray, but we'll be getting into that in a little bit. So thank you all so much for commenting what scares you the most. And they're all super reasonable, and honestly, I feel like the rest of the planet is all on the same board with feeling that they don't have the control. And I'm going to be actually answering a couple of questions here about all of your fears and all of your concerns. And then I've actually got a couple more questions for you guys a little bit later on. So let's go through some of your questions. Okay. So, something just kind of came to me, and it's actually a really, really cute and really just interesting, funny story that I've had in my own life. Now, just know that I've had many experiences with aliens and interdimensionals. It's because I relate myself more to not just necessarily these guys, but I relate myself less to human than, say, other things. And so I've had many experiences in this incarnation. And one of them is that when I started to wake up and realize that I was more than just my human form, which if you come to my next workshop on October 15th, you will also realize that you are so much more than just this human form. And so I started waking up and having these flashbacks and visions of myself as this tall gray interdimensional being. And I remember I was about 18 years old. It was my first year of university. And I sat my mom down. And I'm saying this story because I know you're watching, Mom, so hi. And so I sat my mom down and I told her, I said, I don't know how to tell you this, and I love you so much, but you're not actually you're not my only mom. And of course, for all the mothers and fathers even who are listening, to hear that from a child and saying, well, I love you, but you're not actually my only parent. And there she is. I remember the story. And so, she was so loving and so supportive and, almost kind of like a deer caught in the headlights in the cutest way possible. And she's like, okay, okay, like I love you and I accept you no matter who you think you are, And so I pretty much told her that I was this weird alien who didn't really look like how I look, and I have this other soul interdimensional family. And so I was 18. And so we kind of left it at that. I felt so healed and relieved that I finally told my family what I've been feeling for a while. And so, yes. And so then, about 2 months later, my mom was sitting in her backyard with her husband, Brian, and they were having a fire. And it was late one night, they're just having a fire, relaxing. And lo and behold, what comes to visit them but a giant flying saucer. Now, after the conversation with my mom, I felt a little bit distraught. I felt really good, but I felt a little bit distraught in saying, oh my goodness, my family doesn't understand me. Will they ever understand? And can you help me out? So I kind of called out to my spirit guides. I asked them to help me out with this. Once again, 2 months later, my mom and Brian are sitting in the backyard, and lo and behold, this amazingly beautiful, I don't know, we were so freaked out, this flying saucer, this ship, came down to just kind of hover there. And what they told me, and what my mom told me, is that they were kind of like moths drawn to a flame. And so they walked all the way to the edge of their property, all the way to the edge of the fence, and it was just her and Brian just like sitting there at the edge of the fence, just looking at this giant ship in front of them. And she said that there was no words that were said other than her turning to Brian and saying, do you see that too? And he said, mm-hmm. And just when she said that, it took off. Just as fast as it came, it left. And apparently for the rest of the night, they didn't talk about it. They didn't say anything. They were just kind of processing. And so then she told me, like, I think it was like 6 to 8 months later after the event where it came out, and she's like, whoa, like I totally kind of like blocked it out, And she told me, and instantly I knew that that was my soul family coming to visit my human family, to let them know that, hey, we do exist and your daughter is kind of part of us. So, and that really helped. It helped our relationship. Not that it was bad, but, it helped my mom really understand who I was. So thank you, Mom, for watching, tuning in, and coming out to every speaking engagement you can possibly ever come out to, and just supporting me so much. I really, really do appreciate that. Awesome. Okay, let's get to some nitty-gritty questions. Aww, it kind of makes me want to cry too. It's so beautiful. Okay, awesome. So let's get to a couple of questions here. Okay, this is a question that I actually received multiple times when I asked for your questions. I have the one from Lindsay Townsend, and the question is, will extraterrestrials be making themselves known on a global level anytime soon, or will this just remain an individual level to the ones who are ready? This is a great question, and a lot of the other questions that I received were, well, if they're here, why aren't they making themselves known, right? And I think that that's a very logical and very reasonable question for anyone to ask. So, let me just kind of tap in. I've tapped into this question before, but let's just take a look and see when there might be a disclosure of alien life. So 1 second, everyone. Let's just take a look and see if I can bring in the Palladian Council here. Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so what I received is that, yes, it's going to be a disclosure on an individual level first and foremost, and it already has been a disclosure on an individual level. Some of you out there have had alien abductions and experiences yourself, and some of you out there are just super curious. So so just being aware that there is going to be, it's going to continue at an individual level. So if and when you are ready to experience your own interdimensional self, I would say either call out to your spirit guides and put the energy out there that you're ready for something like that, or you can either contact someone like me or come to one of my workshops to once again have an easier disclosure on who you might actually be. Okay, so being aware of that. And then what else? Oh yes, he also said that in the next 5 years there's going to be 3 major events that are going to take place, and he said that they're going to be events that are going to happen all over the world, not just in the Western world, that are going to expose alien life to majority of the population. But I have to let you know that if you're one of those people saying, hey, why don't we see you, or why aren't there any documented cases, please Google search aliens and government, and you will come across many classified documents and well-documented cases of, government officials blowing the whistle on these hybridization and alien projects. So trust me when I say this, the truth is out there. All you have to do is look for it. Okay, awesome. So disclosure is coming, full disclosure is coming, but in the next 5 years, we can expect to see 3 main, I would say mass media global exposure events, but there's never, ever, okay, get this in your mind, there's never going to be a moment where they come to Earth and they land their ship and they walk out of their ship. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but that is a very Hollywood, manipulated story. And in a lot of ways, that story has been very fear-based. They land and they come here and they walk out of their ship and they're there to take it over. They're there to take the planet over. And that's why, these interdimensional beings have decided not to do that, because the second that they do, everyone's going to be up in arms, okay? So just being aware that that's not how it's going to happen. Please stop projecting that narrative, because we're now creating a reality that isn't in alignment with truth, okay? Okay, great. What else? Okay, great. So there's also something that they're mentioning here, just talking in my ear, and they're talking about putting the intention out there to dissolve the illusion of reality, okay? This is a very important, and if someone could write that down there, okay? I ask to dissolve the illusion of reality for the highest good of all involved. Okay, that is the affirmation that you should be saying to yourself if you want to see the truth, okay? Or you can say, I choose to break through the matrix for the highest good of all involved, okay? So once again, can someone just kind of write that down there? And that's going to help other people dissolve the illusion. Okay, great, fantastic. Actually, speaking of dissolving, I've had close to about, I want to say 5 or 6 people now actually break through the matrix to see my true form. And trust me when I say this, that it has freaked some people out before. They've seen me without hair, which is weird because what is this anyway? But anyway, so they've seen me without hair, they've seen this bluish grayish skin, they've seen large eyes and elongated neck. Some people, even just by me either teaching in a room or even just me, having that glitch of walking in a room, people have kind of peeled back this layer of what you know to be true, Elizabeth April, and really seen, the truth behind this face. And I posted it, and it was actually an intuitive post this week. Would you still love me if I looked like this? And, luckily I've got, great supporters, and you guys are all in the same vibe. So of course, it wasn't really it was more of a rhetorical question, but it's getting the gears going. And I've been posting a lot more alien content recently because we all kind of have to kick it into gear in understanding these greater and bigger concepts beyond this planet. Once we start to understand that we are a small part of the universal whole, we can get away from violence, we can get away from labels, we can get away from religion. Okay? All right, next question. Okay, so I had a really funny comment slash, I guess it was a question by Cynthia Phillip, and the comment or question on my post was, aren't we all aliens? And I think that was, yeah, like more of a rhetorical question, but I really want to answer it and say that yes, absolutely, all of us, every single one of us, are from interdimensional origin. Some of us are, more human souls, and some of us are more interdimensional souls. I find that especially after 1980, more and more of these interdimensional souls have been stepping through human bodies. Okay, so just kind of being aware of that. So yes, we are all aliens, but in different kind of scales. Like, I wanna find a good example, but I'm hard pressed to. It's like I don't know. They're giving me the example of like I guess like antibodies in your body. Some people have more antibodies and some people have less antibodies. Some people are more interdimensional and some people are less interdimensional. Okay. And also, yeah, so we all have alien DNA. We've all got those reptilian brains that we're actually taught about in school. And then, of course, we are all kind of genetically modified and mutated from aliens in the first place. So, anyway, let's move forward. Okay, great. So I've got a great question here from Joanne Gibson. Can we connect with ETs at any time and vice versa, or do we have to know the energy of one to connect? This is a great question. It's very similar to connecting to your spirit guides, that we are basically able to connect to our spirit guides and to our interdimensional beings at any time. So most of the time they're the ones contacting us and connecting to us, but it's because they come from a different vibrational frequency. As soon as you heighten your vibration to a certain extent, which honestly guys, it isn't hard to do. Please watch my YouTube videos. All of the information you need to pretty much up the level of your vibration is in those videos, okay? And once you get to the point where I guess like the point that I'm at with direct communication telepathically, then you can contact them anytime and you can spark up a conversation with this guy or a Palladian or an Andromedan, So yeah, okay, good. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad that you're loving this way better. Nadia, I kind of switched up the energy of the lives, and I actually am going to ask all of you for the next lives topic, and I've actually got 2 to choose from. So I'll ask you in a little bit. Let's get through some more questions. Okay, great. Okay, so I've got a more in-depth question. This is going to be mostly for the people who are already fairly aware of aliens and extraterrestrials. And this is from Anthony C. And the question is, do giants, aka Anunnaki, rule this planet, or do the reptilians? Yes. Okay, so this is a great question. So who rules this planet? Is it the Anunnaki or is it the reptilians? For the majority of, maybe your research and for a lot of, conversations, a lot of the conversations are around the reptilians ruling this planet. And in a lot of ways, yes, they are shapeshifters. Yes, they come through people. Someone also asked the question, is Trump a reptilian? And I'm not going to touch that, but I want you all to feel it out for yourself, okay? The answer should be quite obvious. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get involved in politics. I love getting involved in politics, but I'm not going to go too far, okay? So just feel it out. But yeah, so the reptilians are more like the front men for the control, but behind the scenes are the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were kind of the original control, and then now it's like the reptilians just kind of want this planet and want kind of like slaves for this planet. But I have to let you know, not being too fear-based, is that there are some good reptilians as well. It's just like the human species, okay? Okay, great. And I've got Jason Filion. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but you've got, okay, so spirit guides equals avatars. I don't know the lingo of avatars. Sounds right. And then reality equals simulation. Yes, 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 absolutely. Reality is simulation. So be aware of that. Okay, fantastic. Next question. All right. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a really great one. Okay, so a question from Kelly Millward. Okay. So my 4-year-old son said he sees owls and triangles in his room, and the owls were giving him kisses. And she was asking about abductions and what are the symptoms of abductions. This is a really great question, because guaranteed a lot of you out there have had these symptoms. Okay, hold on. Also, I don't want to freak you out. I want to let you know, I just want, like, covering the topic of abductions, I find personally, and if you resonate with me, hopefully you resonate with this, I find abductions a really exciting thing. I find that, you know, if you are being or you have been abducted before, it's because you are a part of the hybridization project, which means that you are a starseed, you are a light worker, you are here to change the planet and help awaken it. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say that special people get abducted. I don't want to say that, but you have to be at a certain vibrational frequency to sign up for these abductions. So everything that I'm about to say about symptoms of abductions, I don't want you to be freaked out, okay? I actually want you to be a little bit excited, and I want you to kind of get into it, because there's something there that you can unwrap and uncover. And I definitely suggest calling up Trina. I want to say her last name is like Gadhiri or Gahiri or something like that. Please call her up and let her do a regression on you, and she can kind of help you uncover those past, you know, memories of abductions, okay? So a couple of the symptoms here, waking up between 3 and 5 a.m., loss of time. These are probably ones that you already recognize, so loss of time, of course. I also learned the other day that if you've been recognizing that your fingernails are growing really fast without, in a short period of time, it's also a sign that you're being abducted. But once again, this is not always the case, okay? So grain of salt, people, grain of salt, okay? Awesome. And Trina just put her number there for anyone who kind of needs help with that, okay? Okay, great. So, yes, okay, what else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. So when I was younger, I used to twirl in my bed. So I would like move and move and move, like clockwise, in a clockwise position. Apparently, like turning in your sleep is also a sign of being abducted. What else? Weird, like radio, you know, technology doesn't work for you. You bust out lights all the time, but also those are signs of high vibration. There's something else. Yes, seeing owls or having dreams of owls often, just like your son, Kelly, is absolutely an indication that that's an abduction. And I also want to let you know, Kelly, for your young son who's having these dreams of owls and the owls are kissing him, you know, this is what he's experiencing. The owls are specifically related to the grays. I mean, look at this guy. Like, look, can you imagine him kissing? Like, so cute. Anyway. So yeah, so don't worry, Kelly. Your son is most likely a starseed, very powerful individual, and those are his friends and his family. And I just got off the phone with a woman today who's now going to be a client of mine, who has both of their children told her at different times that she was not their mother and that they wanted to go home. And it breaks my heart because there's so many of these lost souls and individuals who are out there who have no idea what's going on. And they've lost all of their memories. Like, they're like refugees to this planet, but we all are. And that's why if you feel lost, if you feel like you have a void within you, if you feel like you've never fit in before, you're most likely one of these starseed interdimensional beings. And all a starseed is a being, a human, who is not originally from this planet. Your soul is not originally human, and most of you already have this feeling of, what the hell is going on? You know, I don't understand this society, this culture. I don't understand who I am on this planet. And you just feel lost. And so many of these millennial kids are so lost. Universal refugees. Exactly, James. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So, and just understand that if you have these symptoms, you are here to help. You are here to spread light and love and information. And it's a beautiful thing to possess. Okay? All right. Let's see what other kind of questions we have here. All right. Am I frozen, guys, or am I good? Some people are saying I'm frozen. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're still going. Okay, so next question here from Lisa Stewart. And the question is, are there entities which take human form, and do these entities or beings help us on our journey to this world? Okay, so I had a really cool experience that a bunch of people commented on the alien post saying that they went to this harvest festival, and I think a couple of the people are watching, and so they went to this harvest festival and they were asking, were there aliens at this festival? Because they said that they saw many people, many humans, many individuals who didn't really look human. And absolutely, without a doubt, I can validate that yes, there were interdimensional beings in human form at that festival. What I've learned from these hybrid beings, and they could be Anunnaki hybrids, they could be reptilian hybrids. Usually when I see like festivals and like usually a high vibrational event is more so like the gray hybrids. I've also seen like Nordic hybrids and Palladian hybrids, all of that great stuff. So if you don't really know who these species are, please research them. I don't have enough time to go into each and every species. Most of them are good. The majority of the species who are on this planet at this time are positive, and they're here for our ascension. And they actually love rave music. It's the funniest thing ever, but interdimensional beings love electronic music because it is closest to the music that they have on their planet and on their ships, okay? So so just kind of being aware of that. Perfect, 6:42. And I just want to once again put out the shout out that I have a workshop coming up on Sunday, October 15th, okay? And the workshop is going to be about introducing all of you to who you are as an interdimensional being, okay? So if you are interested in understanding who you are beyond this human form, then please come to this workshop. There's only 14 spots, so make sure you sign up, all right? Okay, fantastic. Let's get to one more question. I'm going to do a group channel. I'm also going to pull a name for a lucky winner of a 30-minute session. Okay? I do love electronic music. Andre hates it because he's a music producer for real music. But anyway, that's besides the point. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, great. Now, there's a great question here from Isaac Datsko. And the question is, are reptilians necessarily bad with negative intentions? Or is it that it's just a lower self or lower form of reptilians? Or even just a perception that I have of them because of what other people are saying about them? Great question, and I really wanted to cover this for the last question, and then I'm going to go into a group chat channel, and then picking the names. So, so great last question, and the reason being is because reptilians are like the most talked about species who are negative, and then actually it's the grays. Believe it or not, there's a lot of disinformation and negative information about grays, but I also, would agree that there are agreeable grays and disagreeable grays, just like humans. Okay, so I have to straighten this out. Yes, there are reptilians on this planet who have shapeshifted into newscasters, politicians, a lot of celebrities, and, they're here to kind of bring our vibration down, and they're a part of this kind of programming project to lower our vibrational frequency so that we don't wake up. Now, that being said, there are also reptilians who have the capacity to be light and to be good. So to really answer your question, Isaac, it's not exactly your perception and what you've heard about reptilians that actually give them the negative connotation. There are a lot of negative reptilians. They aren't all bad. And the reason why there are maybe a lot of more negative ones than positive ones on this planet anyway, is because the reptilians are dominated by that reptilian brain that we have, which is fight or flight. And because they are more masculine than feminine as a species as a whole, whereas humans are much more balanced, even though we've been much more masculine in the past couple of millennia, we're getting more feminine now and more balanced. But reptilians are a lot more masculine, which means they're all about dominating, they're all about violence, they're all about revenge, they're all about really just that competition and that challenge and proving themselves as these masculine, male-dominated, beings. So that's why I just wanted to kind of clear up the stigma behind all of that and let you know they're not all bad, okay? So try not to fear them, and just know that any lower vibrational energies that are on this planet, they feed off of fear. So even when you're watching a video online about like the disagreeable greys or the disagreeable reptilians, you can't let that overwhelm you. You just have to understand that that's a part of this society. When we take a look at what some of the politicians, and some of the, members of the elite are doing at this planet, on this planet at this time, we can't let that fear overwhelm us. We have to just understand that those people exist and those reptilians exist, and that's it. Okay? Aw, Camellia, I miss your beautiful energy as well. Awesome. Okay, so, okay, great. So let me so I want to ask another question, okay? While I have all of your attention, it's about next week's topic, okay? So once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-choose the topic, I'm going to pre-choose the questions, and it is going to be all questions related to that topic. Some of them will be personal, and most of them will be more like general questions, because I'm here to teach everyone, not just per individual. If you love what I say and you resonate with this information, please, I would love to teach you at an individual level. Head on over to my website, elizabethapril.com, and, book a full session with me. I love doing international Skype sessions all around the world, and if you just have one pressing question, then there's also an option to purchase one question, one answer if you didn't get your questions answered on this live, okay? So once again, focusing on a more broad spectrum of questions and answers so that I can really just kind of teach everyone with this platform and forum, okay? Thank you all for understanding that. All right, so the question is, out of these two topics, which one would you be most interested in for next Monday's live at 5:55? And the topics are 3D versus 5D ascension. Okay? In other words, the Mandela effect. In other words, the old planet versus the new planet. Okay? So if that makes sense to you, please comment below. I need to know what you guys want. Okay? Hold on. Don't comment yet. And then, so 3D versus 5D ascension, or near-death experiences, crossing over, and the afterlife. Okay? So 3D versus 5D, or the afterlife. What interests you the most? And I will be answering your questions next Monday at 5:55. Comment below right now. What interests you the most? The afterlife? Ghosts, spirits, where do they go? How do they get there? What happens if they don't get there? Or 3D versus 5D ascension, and pretty much the progression of the awakening, okay? And then I will be posting a post on my public Facebook page asking for all of your questions related to the one that was chosen the most tonight, okay? So the one that's commented the most is the one that I'm going to be covering on Monday, and then I want all of your questions. And if it is going to be the afterlife, then I want to know if you want to connect to someone. I want to know if you've had any sort of weird ghost stories, okay? So yeah, 5D versus 3D or afterlife. All right, thank you. Keep commenting, guys, so I can get some numbers here, okay? Okay, fantastic. And then what else did I want to say? Okay, perfect. Once again, keep it in mind to like, comment, and share this video on your page if you think this information can really help other people. Okay, thank you all so much. And let's go into, like an end channel, and then I'm going to pull a winner. And once again, just one more thing, 3 spots left for the next retreat, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Orangeville. 3 spots left, and please check that out. Let me know if you're interested, okay? All right, so as you all know, if you have been tuning in to these live videos, you know that the end channel is almost like the most powerful message out of the entire hour of this live video. So let's just kind of open the floodgates. Let's see what the guides have to say, and and what comes through. So 1 second, everyone. If you can, clear your minds, and let me just tap into the collective energy that's here, okay? 1 second. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so this is a pretty good message. I love how every time I tap into the collective energy and consciousness, I get images. So I think that that's actually a way in which society can really resonate to messages. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm an actual visual artist. I don't do it for money, so I don't really put it out there, but I channel messages and I put them into paintings. And this is literally kind of something that I just accessed. So they gave me this image of a field, and the field was full of sunflowers, okay? And so these big, beautiful, thick stemmed sunflowers, and there's a huge field of them, like this infinite field going out. And I'm like, okay, sunflowers, that's an interesting concept. So what's the message here? And so the guides proceed to show me this person, just a kind of ambiguous kind of individual, picking the petals off of the sunflower. And it was almost like the message or the lesson here is like every sunflower represents a decision. And what they're telling me is that every petal you pick off of that sunflower is either I will, I won't. I will do that, I won't do that. I will take that move forward, I won't do that. And what they're telling me here is that every decision that we're making or trying to make at this time, we are going through yes, no. We're so back and forth. There's this epic power struggle going on within us. And what the guides actually mentioned is that it's not necessarily about the decision itself. They're actually saying, stop getting caught up in the decision-making process. It's taking a lot of time, it's taking a lot of energy, and essentially that decision-making process, will I, won't I, am I good enough, aren't I good enough, I'm not sure, that's actually really distracting us off of our path. And what they said was that not only is every sunflower one decision, but we've got an infinite field of sunflowers where we have to make an infinite amount of decisions. And what the guide said right now, exactly, Karen, is not just, getting caught up in the process of decision making, but either committing or not committing. Now is the time for action or no action. But you have to decide what that is within you. You have to decide which path you want to take. And trust me when I say this, that there is no better or worse, either making that decision or not making that decision. The biggest thing is that the decision is made. That is that you're picking the petals off of the flower, and that you just really own whatever it is. If you don't want to do something, don't do it, and own it, because you're powerful enough and you deserve to make that decision. But don't go back and forth. That's where we kind of get caught up in this liminal field of not really being neither here nor there. And what's happening at this time, it makes so much sense. Talking about the 3D versus the 5D planetary alignment, if you think about it, every decision that we make is either in 3D, 5D, 3D, 5D, 3D, 5D, and we're getting this push and pull effect within ourselves. Choose one. If you're going to choose something, choose it, and choose it with conviction. Know that whatever choice that you make right now at this time is the choice that you need to make for you, and regardless if it's a good decision or a bad decision, and I do this because that doesn't really exist, regardless of whatever that decision outcome is, it was the right decision for you. And all the guides are saying right now at this time is own it. own that decision and know that that was the best decision for you. Say, for example, you make a decision and it turns out pretty crappy for you. It doesn't really turn out or work out for you. Well, guess what? You needed to make that decision anyway to learn the lesson from that crappy coincidence or whatever it is, that happened after you made that decision. And if you made a great decision and wow, all of a sudden, that's really benefited you, then great. That was a decision that you needed to make. But stop being back and forth. Stop being wishy-washy. Now is the time to understand that inside each and every one of these beautiful sunflowers are more seeds, which means that we now have not only an infinite field of sunflowers and decisions and pathways for us, but we also have, once we really just let go of the decision-making process and just go with what we feel with conviction, then we have an infinite amount of seeds that we can plant by letting go of that decision-making process and just basing every decision on intuition and how we feel. Okay? Beautiful. Thank you so much for, bearing witness to that channeled message, and hopefully that really resonates with all of you at this time. Now is the time for action. Awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Seems like everyone really resonated with that, so I'm so glad. And let's finally choose a name. So I've got pretty much all of the names here, every single one of you who has reviewed me. If you haven't reviewed me yet, please hop onto my public Facebook page, give me a review, and I will be choosing a new name every couple of weeks. It's not necessarily every month, but every couple of weeks. And so everyone's name, if you have been chosen, your name's out of here. You don't get a second chance, but everyone else's name is in here. So I just want to set the intention for all of these beautiful people, all of you out there, that whoever gets chosen today is the one who really needs it the most. Maybe they're really hurting. Maybe they've never thought of actually having a session with me. Maybe they can't afford it. So whoever it is who's chosen tonight is the person out of pretty much like 88, 90 names is the one who is meant to be chosen tonight. And hopefully you can all agree with that as well. And you're not too disappointed if it's not you. All right. Awesome. Okay, so Grayson, do you want to choose a name? That's not possible. Maybe in another realm. Okay, awesome. Let's take a look here. All right, I feel it. This is the person. I feel their name. Okay, I've got one. Dun 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 dun! I have my own drum roll going on over here. Oh, cool. Andrew Critelli. Here we go, Andrew Critelli. Awesome. All right, Andrew, if you are not watching, that is totally okay. I will be contacting you sometime today or tomorrow with that free 30-minute code, okay? So please stay tuned. I am leaving all of your names in there, okay? So you always have an opportunity and a chance to win. This name is now going out of the pile, and then I will be choosing another name in another couple of weeks. All right, guys? So I just wanted to say thank you all so much. I mean, I feel like the 2-week, the elongation of this live session was way too long. I missed all of you way too much. So I'll make sure that I'll be back every single Monday. And and then I'll tally up the votes for what the topic is next week, and then I'll be taking all of your questions before the live show, okay? Thank you all so much. Have an absolutely amazingly beautiful night, and I will see you all next Monday at 5:55.